Hey guys, welcome back to Built in America. I'm your host, Jeff Freeland. This show, as you know, is about men and women who are actually building business in America today. Not just chasing profits, but trying to do it with conviction, integrity, and responsibility. Each show, I sit down with founders, operators, leaders who believe business is more than transactions. It's influence, it's stewardship, and it's one of the most powerful ways our values show up in real life. We're happy to talk about the marketplace, what's changing in the marketplace, what's working, and what it really takes to serve customers who care about what they buy and who they buy it from. These are honest conversations with people doing the work, learning in real time how to build, lead, and grow in a very complicated world. And today, I am very excited to have Chris Attaway here. Chris is the CEO of Chris Attaway Consulting, and his work sits right in the intersection of building a business and staying grounded in his values. Chris, I really appreciate you being here today, buddy. Could you tell me a little bit about Chris Attaway Consulting and what you guys are doing?
Yeah, thanks, Jeff. I mean, really simply, I care about this great country and small businesses, and what we do is help them cut costs, increase their profits, and hire and maintain the best employees with a strategy that they've never heard of before, and the vast majority of the time they're not using now. So it's really a fun thing that we're doing.
Awesome, man. Sounds like good work to be doing. So let's jump into our
Mhm.
5 questions that we ask every show. First off, how does your business help people live out their values when they spend their money?
Yeah, that's a great question. I help business owners stop funding the systems they don't believe in and start strengthening their own businesses and their people instead. So through, Chris Attaway Consultant, we cut employers' costs, and that's guaranteed. It's just math. We help employers redirect wasteful spending inside their existing payroll and benefit structure. And instead of more money going and disappearing into bureaucracy, that money can increase, it will increase take home pay, strengthen benefits, and improve employee retention. And here's the way we do it. This is what's happening behind the scenes. We redirect tax dollars that would normally go to Washington, D.C., and legally and compliantly keep much of that money inside the business and the pockets of the employee. So instead of higher payroll taxes, rising workers' comp costs, shrinking take-home pay, we produce lower employee costs, increase take-home pay, enhance benefits. And like I said, it's just math so that now their money can reflect their values. And if it doesn't, your business won't either. And so we give a way to, for them to align their payroll with their principles.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And what business owner doesn't like that? I don't know any
Right,
that doesn't like
right,
that. So,
right,
all right. Question
right.
two, what does building and growing your business in America mean to you personally?
Well, as I said to start of the show, America still offers the greatest opportunity in the world to create value, to build teams, serve customers, and steward resources well. But that freedom, it only works well if we use it intentionally. And so to me, that's we got to reward employees fairly, right? We've got to operate with integrity, competing honestly, and creating real value instead of extracting it from our employees. And I believe that business is one of the most powerful ministries in America because business shapes families, communities, and cultures every single day. I mean, to give you an example, yesterday my wife and I went to the Daytona 500. It was wonderful, an American icon. And every year we walk in, there are street preachers with bullhorns yelling at thousands of people that they're going to hell. And every year I pray two things at the same time, that someone might truly hear this truth about trusting in Jesus, but also I pray that the bullhorns would just die quickly because there's no relationship there, no trust, no text, context. And business is different. Business gives us something powerful, repeated interaction, shared goals, mutual benefit. And when it's done the right way, you're strengthening America at the same time.
Absolutely. Absolutely. All right. Question three, how have you seen your customers change in maybe the last few months or last few years, especially conservative or faith-minded customers?
I think a lot of them have become more intentional. It's kind of time for us to to close ranks, and so have I. I mean, for years in business, I was slow to mention my faith, not because I was ashamed of it. Anyone who builds a relationship with me knows, exactly where I stand. but because I've seen too many leaders talk about their faith before they demonstrate it, or maybe they demonstrated the opposite, it was kind of a turnoff. And so, what I want to do is live it in my operation and help those. And that's what I've seen. I've seen others living it. And I read the Liberty Spender's book, a few weeks ago, and this really impacted me. And I know others I've talked to already, it has as well. There's no need to choose between loving Christ and loving American business. And you can do both intentionally. And I'm seeing that, right? And we live it. Like, we want to strengthen our business. We want to steward our resources. We want to help our employees have better lives. And we can do that with conviction without using a bullhorn, but do it in the way that we go about doing business.
Absolutely agree. Yep, absolutely. Because as I said at the beginning, business is the greatest steward of our values for sure. So 100% agree with that. Okay, question 4. What values guide the way you lead your team and serve your customers? I think I know the answer to this question based off of your last one, but let's hear what your answer is there.
Well, I tried to, this one's easy, I think, but it's also, it's simple, but not easy, I guess. But integrity, right? So if I go to a company and my strategy doesn't work, we walk away as friends, right? There is no hard selling. It just got to work for everyone. Clarity, right? Like, let's don't add complexity. Let's make this simple so that it doesn't confuse people, right? And what I do, often people find it hard to believe until they do. And then the light bulb goes off, and that's a wonderful moment. But stewardship, right? So payroll is usually the largest line item in a business. It's really something they need to take a different look at, handling it wisely, right? Encourage. Sometimes it's hard to do the right thing and to do the different thing than what everybody else is doing. And those are kind of the things that I look at.
Yeah, I totally agree. And that idea that you can, hey, we're going to be in business together and it may not work out, and that's okay. We can still be friends and have that mutual agreement is super important. And I think missed by a lot of businesses. So I love that. Love that answer. Okay, question 5, my favorite question. What's one piece of advice you give to other business owners trying to reach value-driven Americans?
I would say solve real problems that matter to us, right? We're practical. We want strong families. We want thriving businesses. We want freedom, and we want stability. So if I know, in my case, if I can help them keep more of what they earn, the business and their employees, reduce unnecessary costs, strengthen their team. Like with some companies we work with, we've seen a 40% reduction in employee turnover, and increase, their pay. You don't need hype. You just need to solve real family, problems that families and businesses are happening, and the team will see it, right? Everyone will see it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Love that. Well, Chris, thanks for joining us, guys. That is a wrap on today's episode of Built in America. I hope today's conversation encouraged you and reminded you that building a business in this country is more than just about profits, about values, it's about people, it's about long-term impact. And if you enjoyed this episode, take a look at our weekly podcast that we have called Liberty Spenders Podcast. You can find it right here on YouTube or anywhere you find podcasts. We go deeper in that discussion into how Americans are choosing to live out their values with where and how they spend their money. And if you're interested, if you're a business owner or a leader or a brand that wants to know how to serve these value-driven America, check out libertyspenders.com. We'd be happy to drop a meeting on the schedule and talk with you about it. And last, if you would like to be a guest here on Built in America, just head over to builtinamericapodcast.com. There's a form right there. Really quickly, you can fill that out, and we will be happy to talk to you and about being a guest here. So thanks, guys, for being here. We really do appreciate it. You supporting American-built businesses, and we'll see you on the next episode of Built in America. Thank you.